Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn O'Malley, and I'm just looking to do my share real quick here. So welcome, and thank you for being here. And I look forward to giving you some very useful and practical information that will help you to live a life that is anxiety-free or close to it. And some housekeeping here. If you have any questions as we're going along, you can put your camera on and wave your hand, and that way I'll know that you have a question, because I don't think that I can see my chat box while I'm in this mode, but I'll figure that out for another time. And so that way I'll know to stop and ask you what you are asking clarification on, but also to let you know that we will have a question and answer at the very end. So write down your questions as we're going along. And what I'd like to do is first do a getting here and an intention for this class, because I think that's how you get the most out of it. And so I'd like you to just think about, what is it that you want to get from this? What from being in this class? And I would ask any of you who are on here live and then who are listening to this later to not multitask while you're listening to this, to savor this as a time for yourself, to nourish yourself, to receive information and healing energy, and to give yourself a gift of making yourself priority here. And also, multitasking is not good for stopping anxiety. So figure out what you're here to learn, to understand more, to change your life, to, what exactly is it that you wanted out of this. And also to remind you that I believe if you, there is a handout for this class, and if you did not get that, I will make sure to put it in the email that I send you with the recording. But there is a handout that does come with this, that has lists all of the things that you need to know in order to make a plan for your life to greatly reduce or stop anxiety in your life. So let's take a minute and get to this point. So if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But otherwise, everybody close your eyes. And I want you to feel yourself in your body. So just notice, sit with your legs uncrossed and your arms uncrossed. Or if you're laying down, just have them uncrossed. And I want you to imagine that you're calling all your energy back to you. Imagine like you're an octopus and you have all these arms out from your day, from all of the places that you've put your energy, put your attention. And a lot of times we forget to pull our energy back, and we just end up, by the end of the day, we're dragging all the places that we've put our energy with us, and that's what can tend to be draining or overwhelming to us. So imagine that that everything that's in the future, all your attention that's been in the future, just pull all of those arms back into your body right now. Just imagine letting go of all the to-dos, what ifs, planning, excitement, all of that stuff that's out there in the future, what you're having for dinner or what you're creating tomorrow, all of that. Just let yourself feel just pulling all of that energy back into this moment right here, right now. And imagine the same thing for everything that's in the past. All those things you keep looping around in your head or keep going over, worrying about or anxious about, just pull all of that energy back into this moment right here, right now. And just notice what that feels like, to have that energy pull back into this present moment right here, right now. And then put your hand on your heart. And I want you to just follow your breath for a minute. Follow the inhalation and follow the exhalation. And I would like you to breathe all the way down into your belly. Slow it down all the way into your belly. And then exhale slowly. And inhale through your mouth, through your nose. All the way down into your belly. And then exhale through, you can exhale through your mouth. Slowly. Another one, inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And then feel your heart beating. And then I'd like you to imagine either loving yourself or deeply caring for yourself or somebody else, some appreciation, some gratitude, something that you energetically you want to share that's around appreciation, love, deeply caring, gratitude, compassion. Just feel that for a minute while you're breathing. Feeling your heartbeat in this present moment, right here, right now. So I want you to feel now, what did that feel like? How do you feel different than maybe you were when you started listening to this? So that's just one tool that you can use throughout the day before you get anxious, throughout the day to keep you from getting anxious. Okay, so here we go. So you're at the right place if you are looking for stopping anxiety and from ruining your life. And you're at the right place if you are have social anxiety, separation anxiety, general anxiety, feel overwhelmed and overstimulated most of the time, highly empathic, highly sensitive, that you're a perfectionist, not wanting to make any mistakes, feel unsafe and or unsupported, trouble being or staying in your body, feel alone and disconnected, feel misunderstood and or don't understand other people's emotions, lack of self-love or deep caring. So here's what to expect in this course. So I'm just, because this is for sensitives and starseeds and I clump them together, I have a short test so you can see if you're sensitive. I'm going to talk about what is anxiety, why would you want to listen to me, what causes anxiety, self-care for anxiety, what higher dimensional living is, and then we'll have Q&A. So let's get started. So here's the highly sensitive test. So looking at this, and this will help to explain also, because this whole thing around anxiety is for sensitive and starseeds, and there's a lot of reasons in here because of our sensitivity that we tend to lean towards anxiety, but nobody teaches us how to manage these, how to manage this energy, how to manage our mind in order to not become overstimulated, overwhelmed, and anxious. So you have an acute awareness. So if there's any of these that I'm going to just let you read through them. And if there's any of these that you have questions about, again, you can kind of raise your hand and ask, or wait and ask at the end of the session. But pretty much, if you know that you are as sensitive, you would have a large amount of these. You don't have to have every single one, and but most likely you are highly sensitive. All right, so going to the next. So what is anxiety? So I got this from I'm going to do the scientific from the Mayo Clinic, and then later I'm going to be sharing why I believe sensitives have trouble with anxiety. And so anxiety is when an individual faces potential harmful or worrying triggers. Feelings of anxiety are not only normal but necessary for survival. So first of all, anxiety is a good thing. And so it's telling us stuff, it's telling us we're in danger. So normal anxiety is that we get something comes up and we have a feeling that we need to protect ourselves. Like that's the hairs stand up on the back of our neck, don't walk down this street, or be aware some of those of us who are sensitive and can know when there's going to be an earthquake, and all of a sudden we'll feel, it's like we'll feel something's going to happen. So those are normal, and that's survival. Since the earliest days of humanity, the approach of predators and incoming danger sets off alarms in the body and allows evasive action. These alarms become noticeable in the form of a raised heartbeat, sweating, and increased sensitivity to the surroundings. So our surroundings, it narrows in. We get really pinpoint focused on what's around us. The danger causes a rush of adrenaline, a hormone and chemical messenger in the brain, which in turn triggers these anxious reactions in a process called fight or flight, and I'd add freeze response. This prepares humans to physically confront or flee any potential threats to safety. For many people, running from larger animals and imminent danger is a less pressing concern than it would have been for early humans. Anxieties now revolve around work, money, family life, health, social media, and other critical issues that demand a person's attention without necessarily requiring the fight or flight reaction. The nervous feeling before an important event or during a difficult situation is a natural echo of the original fight or flight reaction. It can still be essential to survival. Anxiety about being hit by a car when crossing the street, for example, means that a person will instinctively look both ways to avoid danger. So when it becomes a disorder is when the severity of an anxious feeling can sometimes be out of proportion to the original trigger or stressor. Physical symptoms such as increased blood pressure, nausea may also develop. And these responses move beyond anxiety into an anxiety disorder. So some of the symptoms of disorders are restlessness, a feeling of being on edge, uncontrollable feelings of worry, increased irritability, concentration difficulties, sleep difficulties. So those are the basic overall symptoms. And now I'm going to kind of just give you an overview so you can see what anxiety you might have. Generalized anxiety. This is a chronic disorder involving excessive, long-lasting anxiety and worries about non-specific life events, objects, and situations. It is most common anxiety disorder, and people with this disorder are not always able to identify the cause of their anxiety. Panic disorder, belief or sudden attacks of intense terror and apprehension characterize panic disorder. These attacks can lead to shaking, confusion, dizziness, nausea, and difficult breathing. You know, sometimes the panic disorder is when you feel like you're going to die. All right, and then there's specific phobias, different phobias like height, spiders, you know, different animal situations, or flying, fear of flying. Then there's agoraphobia, which you're afraid to leave your house, and then there's social anxiety. This is a fear of negative judgment from others in social situations or public embarrassment. This includes a range of feelings such as stage fright, fear of intimacy, and anxiety about humiliation and rejection. So I see this one a lot, and this is definitely increased with social media. So this causes people to avoid public situations and human contact to the point that everyday living is rendered extremely difficult. Then there's also separation anxiety. So separation anxiety is not just for children. Adults can have this too, and particularly if you've had an experience when you were young, then you can end up having an experience when you're older. It's high levels of anxiety after separation from a person or place that provides feelings of security or safety characterize separation anxiety disorder. Separation might sometimes result in panic symptoms. All right, so, and then also PTSD and OCD used to be part of anxiety, but it's not medically on that list anymore. It's on another part of the list, but they do have anxiety attacks, and I have experienced PTSD myself, and I've worked with people with that who have anxiety, and also work with people with OCD that have had anxiety issues. So let's move to the next thing. So why should you listen to me? Well, I've had a lot of training. I've been coaching for 17 years. These are some of my teachers that I learned from, just a few. If you want to learn more about me and my training, you can go to MarilynO'Malley.com and just click on Meet Marilyn. And so these are some of my early teachers from the Passion Test, Janet and Chris Atwood. And then I do a lot of energy work. So one of the types of energy work that I do is tapping, that I've learned from Margaret Lynch. I'm a certified professional coactive coach from CTI. And I was mentored by John Asseroff of The Secret, who, this is if you ever saw The Secret, this is the house that he had on his dream board that he ended up buying, and didn't realize that he bought the same house that was on his dream board. But John, why I bring him up, and is because he is fascinated by the brain. He's the first one that brought the mind and or not the first one, but in this day and age, that he used the conscious and subconscious mind and the training in the brain, and I'm fascinated with all that into business. And anyway, he's the one that turned me on to that, and so I could see how we change and how we can change our brain. And that's very important to what we're doing today, because I do see how we can change our brain. And then this is my personal life. So I guess also to say on the coaching, I've coached over 7,000 hours of clients. I work with, I've worked with children up to, I think like 70-year-olds was the oldest person that I worked with from all walks of life. I spent 3 years working in drug and alcohol rehab. My specialty is with highly sensitives. I work a lot with millennials. I work a lot in energy, again, consciousness, mind, body, spirit. That's the way to say it. And on the lower right-hand side, there's a picture of me. I think that was beginning of high school or something. And that's a very shy, insecure, girl who is totally transformed today, and who is anyway, that I can look at her and feel for her and know that I've come a long way. And this is how my life is blessed. And those are my 2 children. This is my partner, Jeff, and we traveled to Bhutan. These are friends, and also I'm on the board of Tribal Trust, which deals with Indigenous people. And this is a home that Jeff and I are building. We travel, I paint. I have a well-rounded life that I have worked with. So why should you listen to me? It's because I've applied all the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and I apply those with all of my clients. I work a lot with people, the sensitives, who are here to be leaders and pioneers in helping transform our planet, transform humanity. And it's scary for them to step out and do the things that are really important to them, because that is not how life has treated them as a sensitive, or and they've been through lots of things. And so I am a guide. I am like the one that supports the ones who are out there leading in profound ways. And so let's continue on. That's enough about me. Okay, so what causes anxiety? So these are just some pictures that represent it to me. So so again, it's a normal reaction, right, to danger. But here's what, as highly sensitives, I want, again, gonna keep reiterating this, is one of the things as growing up and being sensitive, and that we have this you know, we're easily reading the energy around us all the time. We're very empathetic. We're feeling everybody's emotions. And also we've grown up usually in families that don't understand us. And we've become the nurturers of the family, or the emotional support of the family. And we don't feel necessarily strong or empowered in a lot of ways. And in fact, there's a lot of ways that we feel broken. So one of the things is that what causes anxiety is feeling unsafe to be us, unsafe to speak up, unsafe to be our own person or do something for ourselves. We feel unsafe also because we aren't loving ourselves. Because most of the time, our attention as sensitives that we grew up, that we're here to nurture others, and that's our value, that we're not caring for ourselves. And so just imagine that when you really think about this, if you don't care for you, how do you think the rest of the world is going to care for you? You're not going to think that they care for you. And if you can't love yourself, what's the scariest thing? Like, you aren't paying attention to you. How safe can you feel if you're not paying attention and loving and caring for yourself? You're going to feel very wobbly. You do not have a strong foundation in order to build your life on. And so you will not feel secure. And that will cause you to feel anxious, because what happens is now everything that determines your life is out here rather than in here. And you have no control of what's out here. So I'm going to teach you how to have control of what's in here, build this foundation, and then you will have the feeling that no matter what's happening out here, you can figure it out. You will be all right. And you will know that you are cared for and you are safe as you can be. PTSD causes anxiety, what we were talking about before. So that's like from fires here in Santa Barbara or around the world, Australia, all different places all over, war, abuse, natural disasters, violence, childhood traumas, all of those things can create anxiety. Our imagination, as sensitives, we have this incredible imagination. And that imagination can take both positive and negatives and spin an incredible story around it. And in our mind doesn't know the difference between make-believe and reality. So whatever you make believe in your mind, you feel in your body. So I want you to take a minute and close your eyes. And I want you to think back to either some great experience where you're happy or joyful or you feel loved. So whether it's your favorite place or you're playing with a puppy or you're with your child, whatever the event is, it's a beautiful sunset, you're with friends, doesn't matter. Just take yourself there for a minute. And notice as soon as you go there, your body feels a certain way. It's like you're back there in time. It's like it's real to you. Well, the same thing happens if you do something negative. I don't want to take you there, so I'm not going to go. But when you think about I'm unlovable, I'm unlikable, that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, these things or different words that go along with the same feeling, then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not safe, and your body feels that. So your mind is really powerful here, and you can control that. So the other thing that causes anxiety is uncertainty. So the uncertainty is oops, hang on one sec, I'm sorry. Oh. I hope this is recording. think it's recording. All right. Okay. Sorry, I just all of a sudden had this panic. It's like, am I recording this? Sorry about that. I hope so. All right. So uncertainty. So when we feel uncertain, again, it's like in these times we're feeling there's a lot of uncertainty going around. What's going to happen? What's happening in our governments? What's happening around the world? What's happening with the weather, the planet, with people, you know, the wars, etc. We're all wondering. We're in that uncertainty, and that can feel very disruptive to us. Mindset, so negative focus, like I was talking about before, our imagination, but also where if you have a habit of looking for all the things that are going to go wrong, if you have a habit of worrying all the time, if you're focused on what isn't working, then if you're focused on how other people have to be responding to you, then and you're thinking not good things about yourself, again, you're not going to feel you're safe. See, we keep coming back to feeling safe. Feeling safe to be us is at the core. That's like first chakra energy. We need to feel safe. We need to have a tribe we feel safe in, and a tribe we can be loyal to. A tribe that we know has our back, and we have their backs. So another thing is being out of body. So one of the things as sensitives, when we're feeling all the stuff around us, particularly when we were younger, it was very overwhelming. And so what we tended to do was then to kind of come up from our body, start thinking about what we were feeling versus really feeling it in our body. And a lot of us would kind of go out into this daydreaming, kind of leave our body. So go more into the spiritual world, or just kind of get out of our body and get spacey. But when we're out of our body, again, this is like grounded. This is your where you manifest, you know, the physical. And if you're out of that, or in a part of it, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't, you don't feel like you have any power. You're all up here. Your power is in your lower chakras, in the lower part of your body. And then you're also in the future. When you're in the future, it's what ifs. You know, what if this, what if that, what if, you know, again, so you're not right here, right now. You're playing in that game in your mind. And it's not being present right here, right now, being grounded in what is. Social anxiety, right? So again, like the woman with the camera and stuff, it's like, do they like me? Do they love me? Did I get enough likes? I'm not lovable unless I get, you know, X amount, having expectations from other people, caring so much what other people care, and not loving yourself. Most of the time when you're directed that way, it's like you have to be validated from the outside, and you have no control over that. And so you can be like a roller coaster, depending on who you run into and how they treat you, or whatever you're imagining that look meant, or that word meant, or what did they mean by that. Again, you're unstable. Your environment, you don't have a good foundation to be on. So you're like a leaf in a hurricane. You're just being blown around by the people around you, the events around you, and you have no control over that. Separation anxiety, it's sort of the same. You know, it's like that's more of, I think that's more of a learned fear. You had an experience as a child, or there's where you lost somebody unexpectedly, really quickly, and then you kind of carry it into your adult, or you saw, yeah, you saw something that made you worry about um, losing somebody else. And that's gotten wired in. And so every time people that you really care about go to leave or go somewhere, you're there, just this overwhelming anxiety comes up. Hormonal and chemical imbalances. So listen, women from like in your 30s on, if all of a sudden anxiety comes up, and some men have this too, will have their imbalances. But go get your hormones checked, because if all of a sudden it comes up and you can kind of see a rhythm and it's regular, you most likely have a hormonal imbalance. When I was working in the drug and alcohol rehab, I would see a lot of women in there that were in there for over drinking, but I could tell that their hormones were off and it wasn't being addressed. So hormones, if any of you know, it can make, if you remember back to puberty, what was happening, and also a lot of kids today getting anxious when they're going through their puberty. Because they're growing up a lot sooner. There's also a lot of chemicals around. As sensitives, we're very sensitive to chemicals. We're very sensitive to drugs. Some are very sensitive to alcohol. Just things flying around in the air can throw us off. Doing certain, you know, even like if you have asthma and you take an inhaler, those inhalers are attaching to hormonal spots, places where you would normally have, I believe it was estrogen or progesterone, I can't remember, would attach, but it was taking up those places. So so that threw your body off hormonally. So really look at all the things around you, what changed when it started, and it could be different things that come up that, and different beliefs about anxieties. So things that you put together as a child, stories. So I'll share one of mine. Is my grandmother, when I was about 5 years old, said, she said, go out and play. She was going to clean and stuff. And she said, don't come back to me unless you're dying. And I, as highly sensitives, we take a lot of things very literally. And our mind, we watch movies, and it's like we're watching a war, it's like the war is, we're experiencing it, we're there. It's the news, we're experiencing it, we're there. It's a tennis match and I'm hitting the balls on both sides. I really, my whole body goes there. And so when my grandmother said this, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I get sick, then I'm dying. I just for some reason put that together. Well, into my 40s, and still sometimes it just depends. If I'm off a little or something's wrong and I don't know, that uncertainty is there, I'll go into an anxiety about it. But for the longest time into my 40s, every time I would get sick, which was rare, I would have an anxiety attack because I thought I was going to be dying if I was sick. And being an empath, feeling other people's anxieties too. So as empaths, we can match what we're feeling all around us. And sometimes, depending on who's around us and the stories we're hearing, it can be an accumulation of things that we're picking up on, can make us feel crazy and create anxiety. We can feel somebody who's depressed. We can feel somebody who's anxious. I'll notice when I get on an airplane sometimes, and then all of a sudden, like boom, the anxiety level in me just shoots through the ceiling, comes on, and I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of people here that are anxious around flying, and so I'll have to, you know, work my energy on that. And then also we can reaction to medications, chemicals, or empathic to the collective conscious. So yes, we can pick up on things that are happening in the world, in the universe. We can feel things that are shaking up out in space. And so sometimes like sunbursts and stuff cause us to feel different things, and we don't know what it is, and that uncertainty and not feeling safe, and depending on how it's impacting us, can make us feel anxious. Reactions to medications, lots of medications. If you take medication for depression, most likely it's going to cause you anxiety. And then there's lots of other medications that have a side effect of anxiety. And then chemicals, like I was talking, carpet, how you clean your house, etc. Different things like that can just set you off, can mess things up in your body. So write down any questions that you have. And so how to care for yourself right now, how to care for meeting your anxiety. So this is the important stuff. So first of all, I want to share, if you have anxiety, so if anxiety starts to come up, don't run from it. What you resist persists, and it actually grows bigger. So I know a lot of times, like anxiety, you can feel it, and it's like, oh no, what, let me distract myself, let me run around. And so I think if you understand that anxiety is happening because a part of you, if it's not chemical, right? If it's not chemical and it's not hormonal, right? Things that we can control. These are the things that we have control over until you go to a doctor. And I would say too, listen, these are natural things. If you have bad anxiety and you need, go see a therapist, go see a doctor about it. I'm talking about, and check out too, to make sure that there isn't a chemical or hormonal imbalance that's going on in the body, or something else that is there that's creating the anxiety. Then, so what I want you to think about, right, is, since I've talked about a lot of what causes it, is this place of feeling unsafe. So instead of pushing it away and like, no, I want you to face it like it's a child, like it's your inner child, because that's kind of what it is. It's your inner child is not feeling safe. There's programming that's happening inside of you that doesn't feel safe. So you can go, oh, hi, what's going on? What do you need? And a lot of times, once you do this, you face it, you face that monster, and then you see it's not a monster, it's just you're feeling unloved or unsupported, or you're feeling afraid of something. And again, this is if it's not, your hair standing up on the back of your neck, and do not walk down that street. Do not walk down that street. It's not a time for you to be going, what do you need right now? It's just like, oh, this is not safe. Let's get out of here. So I want you to address it and say, hi, what's up? And usually that, because number one, what are you doing? You're automatically sharing and caring with yourself. You're like, I love you. And all of a sudden you are feeling held. You are feeling supported. So you're not alone anymore, right? You're not alone. You're like, oh, okay, wait, I have support. And then you can address the fear, like what comes up. So have a conversation, like, I need to eat. I haven't eaten. You haven't taken care of me. I'm starving. My blood sugar's off. So I forgot to say that blood sugar can cause, fluctuations can cause you to feel anxious. It might be that you haven't taken any time for yourself. You're not, and it's your way of saying, I need some loving. I need some attention. I need you to care for me. So some of the things that you can do to address the fears and stuff that come up is address that you're feeling anxious. So you can do some tapping. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling anxious. And you can talk about why you're feeling anxious. I actually have on my YouTube, I have quite a few videos on anxiety that take you through tapping. So again, you're tapping, you're taking care of yourself, and that's helping to neutralize that fight or flight in your brain, right? So if you can make yourself feel safe, feel supported, feel listened to, feel cared for, it's going to cut that anxiety down right away. There's also energy medicine. I love Donna Eden. And so she has little tricks. She has a great book called Energy Medicine. You can go in there and there's, or you can go online on YouTube also and look her up. She has quick little things for anxiety. Those tips you can use. Breath work is really good. So it's like after you first address yourself, then it can be like holding yourself and like, okay, let's breathe. And what you do is you take a breath in. And again, like in the beginning, that when you are breathing slower and deeper, that's telling the body we're safe. When you're breathing up in your chest and fast and shallow, that's saying we're not safe. And that's very masculine energy, like, you know, ready to be on alert and take action, you know. So you are wanting to breathe in through your nose and then out slowly all the way to your belly again. And breathe in, maybe a count of 5, 4 or 5. And if you want, you can hold it for a count of 7. This is Dr. Wild's breathing. And then breathe out for a count of 8. And you can do that like 4 times. And again, it just kind of resets your body. It's like, okay, we're safe. Another one that I use too is aromatherapy. So finding essence. So when I send this video out, I'm going to send out a video that shares different aromas from a friend that explains the different essences and how it affects you emotionally. So you can either create a combination or get some. And I just find, for me, I have special blends that I love. And so when I'm going to do something, or if I'm flying, or any time that I need to calm myself down or get myself grounded with it, I just, I put it on my wrist, and then I might put a little dab underneath my nose, and immediately, and once you do these things on a regular basis, it's just like, there's such intention with it that you start to drop your anxiety very quickly. And the other is be present in the moment, being really coming back to this moment. So a lot of times, like I've worked with people that have anxiety about driving over bridges, or, you know, even with the social anxiety, one of the things, because they'll get caught in their head, and I'm like, so what you do is you get in the very present moment, and you start naming the things that are around you. So if I had somebody who was driving across the bridge, I'd be like, look at your hands on the steering wheel, recognize the car in front of you, look at the name of it, what color it is, you know, what song is playing on the radio. You just follow all of those, you just start naming everything. And if you were in a restaurant and you're having a conversation and you're stuck looping in your head, worried about what the person's thinking about you, and don't know if they like you, and you just started to feel panic, then again, you just kind of come back to your breathing and just notice the music, what the person's wearing, look them in the eye, might listen to what they're saying. And if you can't remove yourself and go to the restroom, and in there do the same, basically just do the breathing, and hi, you're all right, and this is where you are, and you're safe, there's a roof over your head, we're fine, we can call a taxi if we don't want to stay here anymore, or Uber, or we can go home, or we can call a friend. You know, it's like all the things that will make us feel safe and create certainty for us. So emotional well-being, let me see what my, so emotional well-being is, let's see where how that works, right? Because the big thing is, one of the things around feeling unsafe is not being connected, not feeling connected to ourselves. So when we're not connected to ourselves, or feel connected to others, and we feel alone or abandoned or unsupported, that feels unsafe. So creating a, creating a stress and wellness management process, a plan here. We're creating, how can you create something so that you're feeling safer? So part of that is connection to yourself. So being loving and supportive and caring for yourself by doing meditation, spending time in nature, spending time with friends, doing the breathing, whatever it needs, whether it's getting a massage or going and spending, exercising, all of those things is very important. But it's also, so connection, your spiritual connection, your spiritual health is also feeling connected to the earth, being in nature, gardening, swimming, laying on the grass, being barefoot on the earth. Like I said, also then it's connecting to others. It's connecting to source, God, the universal field, central sun, all, whatever you call it, in meditations, visualizations, ritual, or prayer, or through reading. So if you don't understand your connection to everything, you don't understand that, then read up on that, because that is like, that's a huge foundation for you to feel supported by. And for you to know that you're never alone. You're always connected. Once you have that, your foundation is really strong. And then all these others are like the cherry on top of it. So you'll feel supported. You'll feel you can talk to your guides and angels, and that they're going to guide you. They're there for you. They're helping you. They're the ones that are telling you, don't walk down that street. They're the ones that are putting friends in front of you or creating opportunities. Connecting to animals. So physical health. So physical health is really important. Again, because we don't want to get our hormones off. We don't want our chemistry off. We want our body aligned where and it's functioning at its best, because if it's kind of like that feeling of the what's Darwin's thing, the spacing on it, the best, the strongest. Right, the weak don't last, and the strongest are there. And I want you to hear me, that sensitives are not weak. We are superheroes with superpowers. We are not weak. We can see. We actually help species survive. We know where the water is when nobody else does. We pay attention to everything around us. We know where the problems are and how to solve them. We are excellent problem solvers. So the more that you can be physically clear and grounded and healthy, the less you will feel anxious, because you will feel strong, you will feel vital, you will feel clear and grounded. So clearing and grounding your energy, having good nutrition, hydrating, good sleep, moving your body, and then we're back at breath. The breath, if I had to say two things, breathing and meditation are incredible when you spend the time there. And I'm going to be giving you resources for these when I send you out this when I send out the recording. So the next thing is reducing overstimulation. So reducing overstimulation is an overwhelm, because as sensitives, we get easily overstimulated because we have a sensitive nervous system. So we take in a lot, so we have to manage what we're taking in. And we get overwhelmed when we have too much on our plate or we're taking in too much. So I want you to think of, as a sensitive and starseed, you are looking to create a very organized life, a very organized day that creates certainty, that supports and nourishes your body. You have to think of yourself like you are a Ferrari. You are not a Ford. You need special fuel. You have to be driven a certain way, and then you put in, you come back and rest, and then you can go out and you can perform high, and then you come back and you rest and you fuel up, and you know, there's a whole process to this. And when you do this, you have an incredible amount of energy, influence, and radiance, and you have everything that you need to be able to go out and do your thing in the world, live your mission, lead your revolutions, you know, give your talks in front of thousands, raise a family, etc. You have that energy. But right, you have to build up that muscle. You have to create a very strong, healthy foundation and then start building on that. So, so organizing your day, so creating that certainty, creating a plan that nourishes you in the morning, that maintains you throughout the day, and then re-nourishes you at the end of the day. And that you don't overschedule. You learn to say no unless it's a definite yes. And you plan your schedule out so you know you have time to get to where you need to go. You're not stressing, you're not running, and you do what you can do, and without creating that overwhelm and overstimulation. And understand what it is that where your overstimulation point or your overwhelm point is. So and then also monitoring your active mind. A lot of overstimulation comes from our mind. Comes from us overthinking things, comes from us thinking about focusing on the things we don't want, creating stress for us. So it's really monitoring how our mind is running, and what we pay attention to and what we don't. And that's where meditation comes in to really help you start to manage that, to build that muscle of having that focused and quiet mind. And give yourself quiet time. You need quiet time in your day. You need spaces in between the activities. Move your body, walk, swim, yoga, tai chi, qigong, all of those, and whatever it is, whether you want to go running, whatever it is, mix it up. But as a sensitive, we need to move. We need to get energy out. And some of us need different types of energy. Some need spurts, like sprints and then little walks, or some just jumping, hula hoop, play, swim. Water is really important to sensitives. That really helps to clear a lot of energy. So understanding that moving your energy, like that, needs to happen every day, every single day, because otherwise it gets stuck in there. You're like accumulating. It's like clogged pipes, and then it's just like, then all of a sudden you're overstimulated or overwhelmed from that. Become neutral as an empath. So that's something I teach. I believe there's a YouTube on that, on my YouTube site also, but it's like, don't take on other people's energy as your own. It's fine to read them and understand that, yes, you can feel that, you can relate, but you don't need to take it on. That doesn't make you a good girl or a good boy. That is not your responsibility. And there's a lot to go into on that. Let's see here. Simplify your life. Really simplify and do the things that really matter to you, that 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 you can be really grateful for and honor in yourself. And the other is clear out your environments. We do not do well with clutter. And so the clutter, just think that that those octopus's arms that I talked about earlier, like everything that's around you, it's like you notice. And so you notice, and if you don't pull your energy back, it's like you've got you know the clutter's there, and you know that person's depressed over there, and you know your kids are about to have a fight, and you're not feeling very on it right now. And so it's just like you're sucking this energy is like draining from you, rather than you containing and being in this moment and responding to choosing how you want to respond to everything. But so the simpler and the less cluttered your environment, and having things around you that when you see them, you're like, oh, it just feels so good around me. So get rid of the things that have bad memories, get rid of the clutter. Again, just clearing, just imagine clearing your energy. So let's go to this real quick. So again, I was talking about impasse and unhealthy boundaries, and seeing that our energy fields overlap a lot of times, but just because they overlap doesn't mean that we have to take that person's energy on. So creating really healthy boundaries, again, on my YouTube site, I have lots of information on healthy boundaries, or on my website, blogs. I have blogs on creating healthy boundaries. So just knowing that you are not responsible for other people, your children you are, but nobody else. You're not responsible for their feelings and what they're experiencing. You can have compassion towards that, but you're not responsible for taking it on or solving their problems. That's their life path. And so keeping your energy really clear and keeping it your energy is really important, so that you don't get overwhelmed and overstimulated. And if you can see here, like I call this, if this was encompassing the whole body below the feet, I call this your mobile home. And just think that you're always going to be like feng shuiing this. Like you always want to clear other people's energy out. You want to bring back those octopus arms inside. You want to light this up with your energy, fill it up with all of your energy and source's energy coming in, and a connection to Mother Earth from down below. And that it's just kind of like there's a constant clearing, like like it's like a huge chakra for the whole body field that's coming in, and it's just always you're consciously creating intention for clearing it. All right, so mindset, really important. Reprogramming your mindset. So focus on what you want, not what you don't want. When we're always focused on what we don't want, that's what we're creating. And so we're creating more chaos, more drama, everything around us. What is that to a sensitive? Anger, stuff like that. That's like nails on a blackboard. So we don't, that just becomes too much with everything else. So focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Plan for success. Create action plans to help create more certainty. And that's why having a daily plan, knowing what you're going to do today, not over scheduling, and enjoying what you're doing, it takes away a lot of stress and anxiety. Discover your limiting beliefs. So what's running under your mindset are beliefs, and they're limiting, and a lot of us are not conscious of what those beliefs are. So it would help you, it's like to kind of watch yourself, watch what's in the background that is pulling you down, that is limiting you, that is telling you you're not enough, or you can't do that, who do you think you are? Wherever that is like, what is that? What am I believing? Where did I get that from? Because that's all just programming. It's not who you really are. Create new positive beliefs about yourself and your world. So again, how to make yourself feel safe, build that foundation. It might be that you have to talk to other people about this, be around other people who have positive outlooks, listen to people on that are uplifting, inspiring. And then the next thing is know who you are. Know you're not that limiting. Know you're not that unlovable, not good enough, not worthy person. That is not who you are. And limit judgments, complaints, gossip, and competition. So a lot of this starts with you, right? So one of the earliest things that I did was I stopped judging myself and I stopped judging others. And I saw how much I was doing that. And when you stop doing that, all of a sudden, because when you're pointing a finger at somebody else that they're doing this, you have 3 fingers that are pointing back to you, and then you're judging yourself like, I would never do that, right? And so that again is like pressure, and like, who says that? Who, again, where did this belief come from? What is it that you can't relate? What is scary about what you're saying? You could never do that or be that way. And, we're all a reflection of each other. And there's a murderer in me. There's, if I had to, for some reason, defend myself or defend my family or defend somebody else, who knows what I would do in the time, because it would matter what I really what I felt was the need, right? So that there's all different places to go on this, but that is one of the biggest things that you can do. Stop judging others, stop complaining, stop gossiping. All of that will clean up your life. Just think that's all clutter. It's clutter in your mind, clutter out there in the world. And what you put out, just think, comes back to you. So it's like, if you want to have peace, you got to be peace. You want peace of mind? Be peace of mind. Okay, so manage your environments. Again, we were just talking about this. Declutter your home, office, car. Remove toxic chemicals and people and information out of your life. Stop tolerating things that you wouldn't normally tolerate. It's just like, again, it's clutter. This is all clutter. Remove what isn't adding to your life. Why are you hanging on to it? All right, so love is the bridge between you and everything. Rumi. Self-love, self-worth. That's the biggest way, the most grounding, the biggest foundation that you can build is your self-love and your self-worth. And that will make you feel safe. That will make you feel secure. And you will see, you will know that you are supported. This changes everything. And so life is a balance of holding on and letting go. So holding on and letting go, part of this is like, so what's the clutter in my life? What am I tolerating? What are all those things that are causing chaos that I need to let go of? That are overstimulating, overwhelming, and running my life. How do I want to manage my life? How do I want to show up in the world? And what will make me feel good? What will make me feel loved and supported? How do I do that? That's what you're looking for. So adding things that add to your life and letting go of the things that aren't adding to your life and aren't for your highest good. So the world is a canvas to the imagination. So your life is a canvas. And the potential is out there for everything. So not letting your anxiety color that potential, knowing that it is something that you can work with and that you can create and you can manage it in a way that is, and manage your life in a way where you're thriving. Where you feel safe and supported and loved. Those are basic, basic, basic. And you're free to be you. And the world is calling you right now. So, so on the handout that we're going to give out to you, there's daily healing work. And so there's a variety of healings of work that you can do. So I'm giving you a list of things, and then there's actually a chart that shows ideas that I had for morning, afternoon, and evening. And then you can fill in whatever way. You get to make it up whatever way you want. But I would suggest that in creating your life using your imagination, that beautiful imagination that all of us have, I would take things that would really add and create a plan and live it. Live it for the next 3 months. You cannot try something unless you absolutely know that it does not work for you, but you have to put things into practice. It has to become a practice. It's over long term. So I will be sharing breath work from different practitioners that you can choose from, energy medicine stuff, and a daily routine that I do from Donna Eden. Inner work, doing your inner work, self-love, deep caring, gratitude, that sort of thing. Meditation, so I have a couple meditations for you. Create and nurture friendship in person. I want you, people are important to us. Texting is not doing it. Either talk to them live on the phone, or in Zoom or Skype, or go meet. You need to have friends that are in your life in person where you can go out and have fun. That, it's like when things would happen and I would get anxious. I had plan A, B, C, D. One of the things is I was married for like 24 years. We were married for 20, together for 24 years. I left a community on the East Coast and moved west, left all my friends, everything, and came here and divorced my husband. And I was so scared. I was so scared and anxious. But I just kept saying, if I'm not meant to do this, let me know. And it just kept opening doors and opening doors. But I would wake up every morning at like around 3 o'clock in the morning, having an anxiety attack about money. Am I going to be a bank lady on the street? La, 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 all this worry. And I'd worry and worry and worry. And I said, and before I left, I had I had a plan. I knew where the money was. I knew how much. I knew I had friends. I knew I could go live with my friends. I could always go back east if I needed to. It's just like I had all of these things that I could fall back on in case my original plan didn't work. And so when I'd wake up having an anxiety attack at 3 in the morning, I'd say, stop. Where are we going? So I had my vision. I knew I had my certainty. This is where we're going. This is the world that I'm creating on my canvas. This is where we're going. Now go back to sleep, because sleep is when your body heals. Sleep is when you get information. Go back to sleep. Can't do anything else right now. And then you'll be there tomorrow, right? And so I would go back to sleep. And this happened for about 3 weeks. And also when I would go to the mailbox and a bill would come, I'd be like, ugh, and the anxiety would start to come up again. And after doing this for 3 weeks, and again, I would stop myself when the anxiety would come up with the mailbox, stop, where are we going? What are we creating? And I would do that whole thing. No, this is where we're going. This is what we're creating. We're good. And you've got plan A, B, C, D, F. And so after about 3 weeks of doing this, I went to the mailbox once and there was a bill and I could feel myself start to go there, and then it stopped. I had created a new neural pathway in my brain. It didn't go there. I didn't have the anxiety. Stopped. So everything I'm sharing with you, I've practiced and I've worked with all my clients on this. And, again, it depends on you applying the knowledge. And so that's why I'm reiterating. It's the practice over and over again. And so many people are not in the habit of practice. And there is a science to this. And that's what I have to teach the science a lot of times is, keep doing it, because they'll do it like once and it didn't work. Like, it's not a one-time deal. You got to keep doing it. So going out and having those friends are part of that place of you feeling supported and having a foundation and feeling safe. Sound healing, sound tools, singing, chanting, all of that, super healing. Healthy boundaries, clearing other people's energy. I talked about that a little bit. Love yourself and others unconditionally. Forgive yourself and others. And then, also like the essential oils. Okay. So now I want to tell you about higher dimensional living. I'm just going to do this for a couple minutes. This is a course that is starting in January, and it is specifically for sensitives and starseeds. And this is where, so what I just taught you about anxiety is quite a bit of a lot of the stuff that I do in this course. And one of the things that it's bringing a group of people, creating a community together so that you do feel safe, you can create safely. And what we're going to do is you're going to create your life vision. I have a program, a 7-day online program that you take where you look at 14 different areas of your life and get really clear on what it is that you want. And then we're going to get in the group. So you're going to have that, you're going to bring that to the group, and then you're going to learn who you really are. We're going to question your beliefs, your fears. We're going to look at your traumas and your illusions, and we're going to shed the things that are not true, that do not support you. And then we're going to have you step into your brilliance, your love, your heart, your alignment. You're going to learn how to do that. This is all with intermix mind, body, spirit, practical structures, mystical structures, energy healing. And then we're going to look at and connect you to your guides and source and Mother Earth. So you're going to get all your connection. So all of this is around creating that great foundation for you to feel safe, to be doing the work that you're here to do on the planet. And through all of this, you will be receiving tools and structures that you will use for a lifetime. And you will be manifesting the stuff that you want on your life vision that you have created, as well as creating a community of support where we support and celebrate you. So there's more information about this in my materials, and I'll be sending it to you. So I just wanted to do that. And so now, if you have any questions, just turn on your camera and open your mic, and I will be happy to answer them. All right, so here is
Denise.
Oh, hi, Denise. You have a question?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question, but I noticed when you went through the list of all the different things that sensitives do, I have these two pervasive things. I didn't know they were a quality of a sensitive, and that was the mistakes, fear of making the mistakes and being a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And the other one was being terrified of losing loved ones. I always wondered why I couldn't shake the feeling. I just thought it was just regular. And it's so intense. Now I realize that how it can be for a sensitive. And
Yes.
I still don't know how to handle it, but I just try to nurture myself. But
Yeah. And so one of the things, what did you lose somebody when you were young?
um,
Or even if it was like for me, it was my parents got in a fight. It was the last fight, and my father disappeared until I was like 13. So it was, you know, it was that is kind of like, so I couldn't get angry, right? Or somebody, I was going to be abandoned.
yeah,
And so then with my partner, when he would go away, I'd be like on high alert, like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
you know, like what's happening, a little, and if he didn't call me or something, I'd be like in a having an anxiety attack.
yeah. That's what I feel like too. And the only thing I can connect it to is when I was about 4, I went to school really young,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt completely abandoned and rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the start of something. So it was terrible, you know, getting, and I was crying and going to school and got bullied because of that. It was just a
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah.
So I
I
think that's the reason.
Yeah, and usually when you're a child and you have it, then you can have it when you're an adult. Now, when you, so it would be to work with that. And then did you lose like a grandma over that time or somebody, like when you were away, did something happen to? Um, like I know somebody that was, she had terrible anxiety. Did your mom do something before you were 4 and went to school so that made you feel like you would be alone? Or dad?
I can't remember. All I felt was I was not wanted and abandoned, and
Yeah, yeah,
by
yeah,
them sending me out.
yeah. And so if you're left alone, then you're gonna end up alone somehow, or be abandoned. But anyway, so that would be an area for you to look at and tap around. You can do energy work around that, and see if that helps. And then it's also when you're, again, a good way to talk to your subconscious mind is to be logical. So, and get support from the people that you love, that when that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, I told my partner, you need to call me because I go through it, but I've talked myself like, okay, you know, here are the facts, right? And you feel this way, but this isn't what's happening.
Mhm.
So, and like I said, it takes a practice. So it's not going to happen in one time. You know, it takes you doing that multiple times until it starts to believe you, as well as there's energy work that you can do around that.
Yeah, it is. It's a really bad panic. Sometimes if somebody doesn't answer my text right away,
Yeah,
I I think, where are they? What happened? You know,
right,
are they okay? And I start going into that kind of stuff. So
right.
I'm not sure. I have to explore this. You just made me think. It's kind of in the subconscious level, but when you mentioned that, I said, I have a real problem there that
Yeah,
I need to explore.
yeah. But that's good that you see, you know, half the thing is just seeing it.
I know. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
good.
that you're halfway home.
Yeah.
And it's just really going like you're safe. So the other thing is like somehow, again, logically pointing out that you're safe, even if something happened to them, you're still safe.
Yeah.
And that you can handle it, right? You can handle whatever, if something does happen, but right, we're not going to worry about something that is not a problem right now. You know,
Yeah.
we're holding that they're you know, healthy and well, or whatever happens, that we will be able to handle it, and they know that we love them, you know.
Yeah.
So there's uh, yeah, different ways to appreciate this. And again, it's just letting yourself know. So even though you're going, I wonder what happened to them, but there's a part of you that feels unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah. So on this, do you think that people who aren't sensitives feel the same way? Is it that intense? It can't be that intense. I mean, is it intense? Very intense.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know.
I know. I don't know either because
I don't know. I don't know. Because, you know, it's just like, I know people that others that are like, you know, I don't think so. Unless they, again, unless they have this anxiety. Then if they have this anxiety, yes. So, and I found out also that people with OCD tend to have separation anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So, for some reason but anyway, and not saying you're OCD, just
No.
to add more information to the answer
Yeah.
here. But yeah, so I would just explore. So what and as we're little kids, right? We put a lot of different things together and we entangle it. So it's not necessarily what really is. And it's and then we build on that. And so we need to kind of unravel it, like you're, you know, a sweater that has been knitted, and you just start taking the yarn and pulling it apart, little by little. And it's not that you have to understand the whole thing. It's just kind of in your mind, in your subconscious mind, knowing this is a story I created.
Mm-hmm.
And this story is not true in this time of my life.
Yeah.
But you can visit it as much as you want, but I'm just saying it's not necessarily, do you have to dissect it all, right? It's just understanding, here's the story, this is what I'm believing, and I'm projecting it into this time of my life. And so that's why I say a lot of times when you just come into the present moment and you're not in the past and you're not in the future, you can go from here. What's true from here? Where am I at right now? I am lovable. Nobody's abandoning me. I am safe. I have a roof over my head. There's food in the refrigerator. I've got, you know, money or whatever. I've got friends. I've got, you know, you can go through your whole list of all the support that you have. And I've got source. I've got guides. You know, what else do I need to know? And then it's just like doing the breathing work, you know, again, being in the moment, pulling that energy back. I'm not a little girl. I'm not 4 years old in that nursery school.
Yeah, it feels like the more practicing what you just explained,
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that, and the more I practice it, the easier it is for me to not have to go back, and I can just say, no, that's past.
Yes.
You know, that was just that's the story, and
Yes.
I'm choosing to know I'm safe and everything's good, and
Be
I'm
here
very
right
much
now.
better. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm choosing to be here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that practice, I mean, it's really true that it works.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Good. Anything else?
I just had one other thought. It was about the intensity of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up not to have feelings, not allowed. And so I didn't have feelings for until my mid-20s. You know, I didn't even know what they were. But now I'm allowing them, and they are intense. And I don't even mind because I'm loving it, and it's showing me who I am.
Yeah.
But they are intense, and sometimes I need to check out. So sometimes I need to check out, you know, like, okay, that's enough for now, you know, I just.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a good thing, because a lot of sensitives, like I was saying before, we tend to think about feelings rather than feeling them, because that was what we learned, because we learned we couldn't take it all in, or it was like it's like, you know, like electrical shock. shorting out. You know,
Yeah.
it was too much.
Yeah.
And so we had to filter out a lot, either by leaving our body and going and spacing out, or thinking. So we turned to thinking about things and analyzing it and deeply processing, which we do naturally as sensitives. And so it's really important to come back to the feelings, and I recommend a lot for people to put on your phone periodically, like maybe 3 times a day, for it to come up in your calendar, what am I feeling? And so you can check in and say, what am I feeling? Because this is part 2, being a nurturer for everybody else and taking care of everybody else. We're forgetting about like what's going on with us. And a lot of us won't even, we're doing so many other things and disregarding ourselves and putting ourselves last, which doesn't feel safe. And then we're not even allowed to feel. So we're just like explode into, whether it's anxiety because we can't express ourselves in other ways, being angry, or setting limits, doing, some healthy things to protect us. It's all right to protect yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm giving everybody permission. It's all right to protect yourself. It's all right to say no. It's all right to put a boundary up. It's, and it's all right to take, private time. And, yeah, so, and then also get a printout of positive and negative emotions and look at all the different types of emotions and start to see what you're feeling, because a lot of us like only know like 5 emotions, anger, sadness, fear, worry.
Yeah.
But what are some of the other emotions in your life that you might be having? A lot of people will feel sad, but they're really grieving. They need to grieve, but they don't know it's that deep sadness and that loss that they're feeling.
Yeah.
But congratulations for doing the work.
That's a really good idea, to look deeper into the emotions, what they are, to name them.
Yeah, and it's fun to see all these different emotions. Like, wow, okay, yeah. So it really is fun. And then also you start to have a appreciation of the complexity that we are, and some of them in a different way create a different feeling than if you just lump everything to fear or sadness or anger or depression. There's a different feel and energy to it, and so be like, oh, that's interesting, because that can also lead you to where it came from. Like a lot of people have regrets, and they don't realize that they're having regret and grieving that they didn't do something, or that they missed out on something, or they didn't have the relationship that they want, or they lost something, right? So so it just gives you more information that clues you in to how you got to where you're at and why you're believing what you're believing.
Yeah, somehow it feels a little more loving, or a lot more loving to yourself, to have those names that you need.
Yeah. And you caring about your feelings instead of disregarding them.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. I'm looking over at your name like I'm talking to your name, but I don't see a picture. Like, oh, hello. Anyway, yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. And just that your class was wonderful, and I'm really glad I'm here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So I'll be sending out the other information and resources for you.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Really appreciated it. And look forward to meeting you all in the future. Take care.